Okay, we ordered a Pyle PLMRCW2 housing, marine housing for marine stereo to keep the water and elements off of it while you're using it. This is a Kenwood marine stereo, has a removable detachable faceplate, which is the way you want to go with a marine stereo. So you can take this off when you're not using the boat, and the electronics in here, the display especially, doesn't get moisture in it. This will not. I mean, it might help a little bit, but it won't keep this from the moisture from eventually getting in the LCD and ruining it. I've had them before, and it ruins it. These type of enclosures aren't enough to stop moisture 100% from getting in there eventually. So it's better if you just have a removable. This is Kenwood right here. It's Bluetooth. That's the model there. So if you're, it's got all kinds of features. You can talk through it like a phone. I don't know if you'd want to do that, at least when you're moving a boat. It's loud usually, but it does have the feature, connection, Bluetooth, and all that stuff, and direct USB charging your phone and everything. But anyway, this is about the Pyle, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I install it. You might have a different way. So let's see. We'll open it up here. I already had this open once, but for this purpose, I'm going to open it again here. Let's see. I already started cutting this. I'm going to show you why in a minute. The lid. It comes with a gasket. Has one side where you can peel it and stick it when you're ready to permanently affix it to the housing. And then comes in this plastic bag here. Be careful handling this because it's got two springs, one on each side here. You can see a spring there and a spring there for the door, so it stays open when you open it. One thing nice about this one is when you open it, it would go this way in the boat. When you open the door, see, it stays open. Close it, it stays closed. The springs make sure it's nice and tight, so the boat's bouncing around, little waves, it stays closed or stays open whenever you want it. So it comes with instructions, Doesn't come with a template, so I'm going to show you for this hole. And this is a good template here, but you don't want to use this against, to draw on the boat, because it's wobbly, see, and you probably won't get it straight 100%. So I'll show you what to do. What I do here, and I started it already with a pair of scissors, is cut this lid off. I'm going to use this nice piece of cardboard here they give you with the box, and it's a lid that closes it, but you can use this as a template. And so we'll finish cutting this off. Okay, I use the scissors and I finish cutting it off the box, so now I have a template here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this little lip off here, so it's just a piece here. Okay, now that I have that lip cut off, I'll move this out of the way, and I have the gasket here. I'll just lay it on top. One side has adhesive you peel. I'm not going to stick it on here because that adhesive has to stick. When you put that gasket on, it has to stick to the lid, so it keeps it in place when you install it. But what we're going to do is we're going to basically put this on here, and I'm going to use regular tape, and I'm going to tape it down so it's straight. And then I'm going to take a pen, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw on the inside of the gasket. Don't do it on the outside, because then you're going to be too big. Your hole's going to be too big to fit it, and you need to do it on the inside. So let me do that. I can't do that on camera because I'm holding the camera. See, I taped it. I didn't go past the inside. I just put on the very outside. And then I took my pen and I just went very close to the edges, and I followed all the contours. There's a few little notches here that you can go down and contour it and just make it very close as you can. The closer you get this you know, when you draw the outline, when you cut this, you know, when you have it on the actual fiberglass and you trace it then around the edge of the fiber on this thing on the outside, it's going to be as close as possible. You probably, when we get out there and we're doing it, we'll probably have to grind a little bit more with a Dremel to get it to squeeze and fit tight as possible. But that's what you do. You tape it, you draw the outline as close as you can, and now we're going to cut. Now we're going to take this piece off and then cut. I took the tape off. Now I'm going to remove this. Put this out of the way here. You can see we have a nice inside perimeter of this case. So now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it. You could use a X-Acto blade if you want, you know, but this glossy side's pretty tough to cut through. But I'm just going to use scissors and just cut as close, you know, as good as I can, you know. And I'm gonna cut. Okay, so I cut this out, and you see how a little bit, it's like a little notch there on each side. That's a little bit further in, because on this there's a little notch. But you know, you just got to get it close, because it's not going to be 100% perfect, and that like you're going to trace this and that thing's going to slide in perfection. You probably have to grind a little bit here and there, but it'll get you very close. So we're going to go and take this now to the boat, and we're going to put it where we want to put it, and trace our pattern there for cutting. You want to cut the center out. You just cut a nice spot out of the center, so you can tape it when you fix it to the fiberglass console, because you can't put tape on the outer rim. Obviously you're tracing there, so just cut out a spot to be even or anything. See here the old stereo here, and the display got all moisture in it. Take that off, and I'm going to remove this before I make my template hole, which will be a lot bigger than this hole. It's larger. Okay, got the old one out, all rusty. Just basically fell apart. So it's out of there. Now I'm going to do the template here up against, I'm going to start here and go up because it's a lot wider, but I don't want to go too far down. It starts bent, it starts curving right here. So okay, so I drew it. You know, I messed up a little bit on the corner, went a little oops, but that's no big deal. Get some remover stuff and just remove that later. But you can see now what I'm going to have to do. I got close to this side here and went over this side more, because behind here, about an inch over, there's the some kind of, it's molded. There's a solid piece right there, so you can go closer to the steering wheel. This way, the steering wheel. So it's pretty much just where I want it. I'm gonna have to grind off a little here on the bottom. I just wanted to overlap it a little to make this straighter. But I'm basically just gonna use a drill bit and cut, drill, 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 just knock out as much material as I can. And then when you get near the edge where you want to make a nice straight line, then you can use a Dremel tool and just cut, you know, grind away nice and even as much as you can. I guess you could use a saw, some kind of saw, but you know, I'm just going to use a Dremel type tool. So, okay, we use a rotary tool to cut this, and it works really well. Take your time and cut all the way around the inside of the perimeter. Can't do this and record, so I'll show you how it comes out. Sure, you put the seal, peel off the sticky side, and make sure you push it in really good. I know it's hard to see with the lighting here, but make sure you push the seal really good all the way around. All the way around, really nice and in there, and all conforming to all the little screw holes. And it only goes one direction because that part's wider, so look for the wider, the little cutout in the gasket that goes around these little parts that stick out. It only goes on one way. Okay, Make sure that's done right before you install it. Now we're putting the self-tapping screws in. What I did is I used a small drill bit to drill pilot holes so the self-tapping screws are easier to go through the fiberglass and you don't crack the fiberglass. You don't really want to use self-tapping screws and basically make the hole with them. It's better to use a little drill bit, make a little pilot hole, a little bit smaller than the self-tapping, and then use it by hand, you know, with a nut driver to turn them in. This way you don't crack your fiberglass and everything's good. So I'm going to do these 4 and then we'll be done.